Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder once again with the story for you. This one comes from Relationship Advice and is titled, My 27 female boyfriend, 23 male, is insanely quiet around all my friends to the point that I don't want to bring him around them. Is there a way to help him? Has anybody else been in this position where they had a partner that they were dating that was just like so closed off that they couldn't form connections with like friend groups and stuff? I, 27 female, have been dating my boyfriend, 23 male, for 6 months. The popular saying, opposites attract, definitely applies to us. When it comes to our personalities, we're about as complete opposites as two people can be. I'm an extrovert, don't know a stranger, and love staying busy, whether that means meeting up with friends for brunch, going out on the weekends, or going to different events. He, on the other hand, is a bit of a loner. He likes to stay in, play video games, and just have lazy days around the house. I like those days as much as the next person, but I need social interaction to fill my cup. Now, to clarify, I knew all of this going into this relationship, but maybe not to this extreme. I knew that he was an introvert and didn't have a lot of friends. I also knew that he hadn't experienced a lot of things in life that I have due to us coming from different backgrounds, and I'm completely fine with that. As our relationship has gone on, he has struggled to not just connect, but to even just talk or interact with my friends at all. For instance, during a 2-hour dinner, he didn't speak a single word. Literally, not a single word. He has joined me at large gatherings with all of my friends, more intimate brunches and a couple of parties, and he will usually sit quietly at a table, disappear to the bathroom, or scroll on his phone and completely disconnect from the conversation going on around him. I don't expect him to be the life of the party or talk anyone's ear off, but I would hope that he would be able to talk to my friends and family and be able to be part of the group. When I talk to my friends, they all say the same thing. He seems nice, but he just won't talk. They all have said multiple times that they would love for him to open up and become part of our friend group. When I bring it up, he just shuts down. He always says that he just needs more time, which I completely understand, but each time he is in a situation to get to know them and talk, it's like he is getting further away from them than he is getting closer to them. In brief conversations that we have had, I think he had a rough childhood and that his social anxiety and quietness might come from trauma from that, but it's so hard to get him to open up. When it is just the two of us, he is somewhat more expressive and talkative, but even then, it can be a struggle. I feel like he would greatly benefit from therapy. I'm a big believer in therapy, but I don't even know how to broach the subject without him getting upset or offended. I don't know what to do. I love him and I want to be with him. But when I start to think about how the future will look, I don't know how it will work. My friends are my family. It's not like they're going away. My life will always consist of events and social interaction. I want him to be able to do things with me and be part of my friend group, but I feel like I'm getting to the point that I don't even want to ask him to be a part of these things because I know he's not going to enjoy it. And I start spending more time worrying about how he is doing and not being able to be present in the moment. I don't want or expect him to completely do a 180 and change his entire personality, but I feel like meeting me in the middle by at least being able to interact with my friends isn't too much to ask. I don't know what to do to help him. Is there a way that I can help him? Okay, thoughts here? Hatter, who dropped the 5 on the YouTube side, says, as a person who is with a quiet person, it really depends on the people. Some people can bring out the quiet. And Angel dropping the 5 on the YouTube side. Why does he have to get to know them in group settings? Bring one extra human over at a time, work with him, not against him. There's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. Okay. So instead of doing like multiple people in there, maybe it is overwhelming for him to have multiple people that he doesn't know as well there. So maybe bring one friend in at a time and experiment, right? See if that helps him open up a little bit there too. But as OP says here, even when they're one-on-one, it's a little bit better, but not a lot. And it sounds like there's a rough past contributing to this as well. So gosh, I'm sure it's pressure. I'm sure that, you know, this is something that he obviously struggles with, and maybe pressure in general just exponentiates that and just makes him shut down. Now the question is, how do you fix that? How do you move forward from there in a way that tries to improve upon it, right? Hold up. Not that we need the heat lamps. You're already steaming it up in here, Tater. But it's Tater Thoughts. We got to get the heat lamps on. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time today, Candy Thunder.
Oh my God, it's Tater.
Hi. I think as you know, social settings are incredibly hard for me to put myself out there and not feel awkward and like think about everything that I'm saying. You know, even just coming on camera in the beginning was very hard. Now it feels like second nature because I've done it so many times, which goes into like what someone said about bringing one friend at a time to get to know them so that they feel comfortable with more than just their partner. And I keep seeing this like 6 months is not that long, but to me that is a long time. Like if I'm going to invest 6 months in a relationship, that's because I see that relationship going somewhere.
Yeah.
But I know after a couple dates whether or not I could see a future with that person, whether or not I'm compatible with that person. As far as this situation goes, I think I personally one-on-one would need to have more, because that's how I emotionally connect with someone.
You would need to have more
conversation
from OP's.
I would need to meet. I would need to know more about them. I would need to understand who they are, how they were raised, what they want out of the future, and I would need to connect with them on that emotional level, one-on-one, so that I know exactly who I'm in a relationship with. And if I'm not getting that from someone after 6 months, I would say that we're probably not compatible. But I understand trauma, and I understand that, it really shapes who we are. How our childhood is really shapes, and I'm learning that more. It really shapes who we are as a person. We're basically just grown children who get to do fun things. But I think in this instance, if you truly love this person, I would give them more time. But I would also have, this is what a relationship means to me, and this is what I need from a relationship to connect with you on an emotional level. The friend stuff can be put aside, because that does feel like pressure for someone who is highly introvert.
And pressure would exponentiate that, right?
Yeah. So pressure, if someone told me that I need you to be more when we're in a public setting,
you'd be less.
I would be less.
Yeah.
I would revert. I would feel more self-conscious about what I'm doing in that social setting. So I think if I would try to connect more emotionally one-on-one, and then introduce them to a friend that I know understands it and gets it, and see if it's even going to work moving forward. But if I'm not getting that one-on-one connection, then there's no point in having the relationship, because I would emotionally need that.
So a couple of ideas here. And by the way, Joanne Harrison dropped the 5 on the YouTube side, said, my husband used to be an extrovert, but when his MS caused him to have a reduced use of his right arm, he became almost a total introvert.
I get that.
I get that too. Mm-hmm. I mean, something changes, and I'm sure there's a lot going on there.
Yeah. I think going to a dinner for 2 hours and not saying anything and not communicating with the people that are there, even if it's just a couple sentences, that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with in a relationship. Which tests the compatibility of the two people that are in the relationship. So,
Crystal, you make an interesting point here. And she says, I accept that when I meet Gemma for the first time, I will have to talk to wear a Stitch blow-up costume and probably sit back to back with a door between us. It's okay. I will love it. So, you're
meeting someone where they are.
Knowing that going into it, which Opie knew this going into it, I think if the hope was, look, I know this going into it and I sort of accept it, but I think I can change it, that may be problematic, right? There's also a side of this where with the age, for sure, small talk is a learned art. Small talk is not something that is not like a skill that people are born with, especially younger people now, because we have this as a fallback. Right. That you can use to avoid having to do the small talk kind of thing. So I think there are some options there where whether it's, smaller groups of people, maybe just one person, and maybe you pick your most introverted friend and try to give them somebody with a little bit of common ground, and then maybe not make it so much small talk dependent, but maybe it's like a games night where everybody has a turn.
Small talk. I hate it.
I know you do.
I'm terrible at it.
You like games nights though, right?
I love sarcastic banter. I'm very good at that. But small talk, just trying to open up a conversation, it's incredibly hard for me.
I don't know. I think there's a decision to make here where it is I'm going to meet this person where they at and be completely accepting of who they are, where they are, and let them move at their own pace, or maybe have some kind of agreement and conversation there where it's like, hey, do you want to open up more? Do you want to converse more? And if that's the case, then come up with a plan together to kind of tiptoe in that direction with a games night kind of thing, with smaller groups, maybe find the introvert. There's some options there, but I think it's a plan that you have to come up with together. Otherwise it's pressure.
There you go, OP. Cards Against Humanity.
Yes, Cards Against Humanity.
That would break the ice.
Yep.
Come here, babe.